The battlefield trembled before him. Shields shattered. Spears splintered. Men ran screaming. Not because he was cruel, but because he was invincible. At least, almost. They whispered his name in fear and awe, Achilles. But even invincibility has a secret. And fate is patient. Welcome to Cammy the Story Teller, and this is story of Achilles, the warrior the world feared and destiny hunted. Long ago, in a world ruled by gods and men alike, a child was born who would change the course of legends. His mother, Thetis, was no ordinary woman. She was a goddess of the sea, capable of bending waves and whispering with storms. His father, Peleus, was a mortal king, noble, brave, but human, and mortal in every sense. The gods whispered that this child would become the greatest warrior the world had ever seen. But they also warned he would die young. Thetis could not bear this truth. She could not watch her child die like an ordinary man. So she did what only a goddess could. One night, under a silent sky, Thetis carried her baby to the river Styx. This was no normal river. It flowed through the underworld. Its waters were dark and powerful. Anything dipped into it became untouchable by death. Thetis held Achilles by his heel and lowered him into the river. The water touched his skin. His body hardened against pain. His flesh rejected steel. But the heel she held did not touch the water. She pulled him out. Achilles was now protected. Almost completely. One small part of him remained human. That heel would one day decide his fate. Achilles grew fast. Stronger than boys twice his age. Faster than horses. Fiercer than the winds in the mountains. His mother sent him to Chiron, the centaur, who taught heroes their arts. Chiron trained Achilles in swordsmanship and spear fighting, archery, horsemanship, strategy and tactics, poetry and song, calmness and meditation. Even the gods themselves came to watch his training. But training alone could not tame the fire inside Achilles. His pride, his sense of destiny, burned brighter than any lesson could cool. A prophecy hung over him like a shadow. Stay hidden, live long, fade into obscurity. Or, fight, gain eternal glory, and die young. Achilles chose glory, because for him, life without honor was no life at all. And so he set his path toward the Trojan War, where his name would echo across centuries. The Trojan War begins. Far away, trouble was brewing. Paris, a Trojan prince, stole Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world. She was the wife of the Spartan king. This act shattered peace. Greece prepared for war. All the greatest warriors were called. Achilles' mother tried to stop him. She hid him among women. She dressed him like a girl. She begged fate to look away. But destiny does not forget. Achilles was discovered. And once he chose war, the gods themselves stepped back. When Achilles arrived at Troy, the war changed. He did not fight like other men. He moved like fire. He killed without mercy. He crushed champions. He dragged enemies across the dust. Trojan warriors fled at the sight of him. His armor shined. His spear never missed. His rage was unstoppable. Achilles became death wearing human skin. But Achilles had a flaw greater than any weapon. Pride. When a Greek leader insulted him and took a woman he loved, Achilles snapped. He withdrew from battle. He refused to fight. Without him, the Greeks began to lose. Men died. Morale broke. The war leaned toward Troy. Achilles sat in his tent, burning with anger, while the battlefield drowned in blood. Achilles had one weakness greater than pride. Love. His closest companion, Patroclus, begged him to return to battle. Achilles refused, but allowed Patroclus to wear his armor to scare the Trojans. It worked at first, but Hector, Troy's greatest warrior, saw through the trick. He killed Patroclus. When Achilles heard the news, something inside him shattered. The invincible warrior screamed. He tore at his skin. He begged for death. Then he chose revenge. Achilles returned to the battlefield like a storm. He hunted Hector through the streets of Troy. The city watched in silence. Even the gods held their breath. When they fought, it was not a battle. It was an execution. Achilles killed Hector and dishonored his body. Rage consumed him completely. From that moment, Achilles was no longer just a hero. He was a warning. The gods had watched long enough. Achilles was too powerful, too wild, too proud. So fate moved quietly. Even though Achilles was a hero, he was also human. He had become too proud and had offended the gods. The god Apollo knew the secret of Achilles' heel. He whispered the secret to Hector's brother, Paris. During a final battle, Paris took his bow and aimed an arrow. Apollo guided the arrow through the air, and it struck Achilles in the one place the magic water hadn't touched, his heel. The wound was deep and poisonous. Because it was his only weak spot, the great Achilles finally fell. The warrior who could not be killed was gone. Achilles died young, just as the prophet said he would. But his name was never forgotten. Thousands of years later, we still talk about him. We even call the tendon at the back of our foot the Achilles tendon. His story teaches us that even the strongest people have a weakness, and that true greatness comes with a price. Thank you for listening to Cammy the Story Teller. If you enjoyed the story of the man with the iron skin, don't forget to like and subscribe for more interesting stories.